Now that we heard the greatness of Naam itself, the question comes in, how do I bring it into my practical life every day? In fact, there's a beautiful Shabad I like to share with you. It says, Gur Satgur ka jo Sikh akhaye, so palke ut har naam te aave. If you call yourself the Sikh of the Guruji, the true Guruji, Satgur, then you got to do something. And the very first thing you got to do is to palke ut, to arise in the early hours of the morning and meditate on the name of God. Har naam te aave. Then what you are supposed to do, I'll share with you the entire day's program. In fact, this is given to us as a practical tool for life. And if we can adopt this curriculum that God has put forward to us, that Guruji has actually written out for us, then our life will truly become a success in its spiritual form. After all, spirituality is the ultimate goal of human birth. So coming back to this line, it says, Palke ut, to awake in the early hours of the morning. In fact, you may have heard of this rain bird. Have you heard of the bird called the babiha? It says, Babiha, Amrit vele bolea, taan dar suni pukar. In those ambrosial hours of the morning, just before the sun rises, everybody else in the world has gone to sleep. Everybody that has something to do with worldliness has now toned on their life. And who is awake are those saintly people, those people who want to connect to God Himself. And in this Shabad, Guruji says, Babiha, Amrit vele bolea. That rain bird, it is thirsty. It is thirsty for the droplet of water. And in the early hours of the morning, it knows, if I ask for anything at this point of the day, when everyone else is asleep, when everything else is cool and quiet, then surely, for sure, my message will go directly to God and I will get what I want. Now, if the bird has that kind of intelligence, why not we, the humans, use the same idea? Awaken in the early hours, and the Gurbani says a guarantee is given to you. Taan dar suni pukar. Sit still, and I'll share with you in the few moments how to actually recite this Gur Mantar. How you can sit in the comfort of your home. You don't have to even step out from your house, wherever you are. Wake up in the early hours, and what to do, I'll share the few steps with you in a while. But let me tell you the importance of the time. At Amrit Vela, a beautiful thing happens. A beautiful guarantee comes before us that whatever you wake up and do at that time, whatever you focus upon, the law of attraction will just pull that object of desire to you. And if the object of desire is God Himself, then by chanting His Naam, God will come towards you at Amrit Vela. Let's go back to the bird. In fact, the bird says, I am thirsty. Amrit Vele, it cries out and it says, Oh Lord, I want some water. And the Gurbani says, Taan dar suni pukar. At that point, as the bird cries out for water, God Himself listened to the cry of the bird. And what does God do? Mege nu furman hova, varso kirpatar. God sends the order to the clouds and says, Go clouds, go to where my little lovely bird is waiting. Please, please, please give the water to the bird. Now think about it. You and I may not be thirsty for the droplet of water, but our life has desires. We all have things that we aspire for, whether it's worldly things, whether it's spiritual things. We all have goals, and whatever you ask for, you will get it. But the condition is, maybe the time has to be right. Maybe the method has to be right. Maybe our cry has to be real sincere from within our heart, really pious, with nothing holding us back. And in that true sincerity, God Himself will listen to us. Now you all do the Japji Sahib every day. In fact, in Japji Sahib, Guruji says, Fer ke agge rakhiye, jit disse darbar. There are two questions that come forth, and the first question is, what shall I offer before Him so that I get an opportunity to see the darbar of God Himself? You want to meet the King of all kings? You also bring a little gift. And here it says, what gift, what offering shall I put before Him? Hey, maybe it's an offering that will allow me to see the greatness, the great house of God Himself. And the second question, मोह के बोलन बोलिए, जित सुन तरे प्यार. And what can I speak from my mouth? What words should I let go? What shall I say that I can actually evoke this love of God Himself? These two questions are the most crucial questions of anyone on the spiritual path. What shall I offer? And number two, what shall I say? And the answer comes in the next line. In the Japji Sahib, a prayer that you and I are supposed to do every morning as we wake up. As we wake up after those chants, after those Simran movements, after sitting there and absorbing ourselves in the name of God, then comes the Banis. And the first Bani that a good Gursikh is supposed to do every day is the Japji Sahib. And the answer comes, it says, Amrit Vela Sach Now Vadyai Vichar. In the very, very beautiful ambrosial hours before dawn, the Amrit Vela. The answer is, all you got to do is chant the true name of God. Such now, and contemplate on the glorious greatness of God. And by so doing, for sure, Guruji says, Karmi aave kapda, nadri mokh dwar. And by so doing all these beautiful things in the early hours of the morning, you are guaranteed the place at the gate of liberation. Mokh dwar. You will not have to come back. And that's why Guruji says, Nanak, Eve janiye sab ape sachiar. Know this very well, because God Himself has given us this wisdom. So the first thing about chanting, the first thing about Naam, the first thing about connection maybe is, when do I connect? And the answer comes in, if you call yourself the Sikh of the Guru, so palke uth har naam tyave. Awaken in the early hours of the morning. Meditate on the name of God. Then what? Udam kare, bhalke parbhati, ishnan kare amrit sarnave. And as you arise early in the morning, bathe and cleanse yourself in the pool of nectar. Then Upadesh Guru, har har jap jape, sab kilvik paap dokh le jave. And if you follow these instructions of the Guruji, and if you chant the name of God har har all the time, all your sins, all your misdeeds, all your negativity shall be erased. And then comes the daylight. Guruji says, Fir chade divas. As the sun rises, what are you to do, O fellow Sikh? Gurbani gave. Sing the praises of God. And not just that, but throughout the day, as you go to work, as you go to school, as you do anything in your life, behndiyan uthdiyan har naam tyave. If you notice, this word naam, naam, naam seems to come again and again and again, again and again. And in fact, the next line, I'll share with you something even more important about naam. But if you notice, whatever you are doing, the instruction is uthat, baitat, sovat, naam. Jagat, whether you are awake, whether you are asleep, whether you are, whatever you are doing in your life, do it. Do it. But at the same time, make sure your connection of the mind is to the naam itself. And Guruji says in the next line, if you can reach this state of being where whatever you do, at the same time, your mind is focused on God. If you can reach this state of a lifestyle, then Guruji says, Guru man pave. So Gursikh. Such a Gursikh. Which kind of Gursikh? Guru man pave. Guruji says, I am so pleased with such a Gursikh, with such a being who does something. And what is that something? Listen to the words, because that's what we'll be sharing with you in the next few sessions on how to go into this connection of Naam, bringing you closer and closer to God. And Guruji says, that Gursikh I am so happy with, that human being I am so pleased with, jo saas giras tyaye mera har har. The one who meditates on the name of God with every breath, in and out. As you take the breath in and as you let the breath go out, remember God. These words, saas, giras, we're going to be going into deeper techniques of this in a few moments. But that is the hint that if you want to be pleasing to your Guruji, if you want to be You know, when you want something in life, you always try and please the one who has it all. Now Guruji has everything. Whatever we aspire for, whatever we desire for, whatever we want in our life, we can get it from Guruji. So why not try and please him? And the answer on how to please Guruji, Guruji tells us in his own words. He says, you want to please me? Very easy. Saas Gras. With every breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. Remember the name of God. So easy. And we will develop on this topic of Saas Gras in a while. But let me just finish with this Shabad. 2 more lines, and it says, Jisnu Diyal Hove Mera Swami, Tis Guru Sikh Guru Upadesh Sunave. You know, listening to these recordings, it is not everybody who gets their hands on these kind of beautiful jewels. All these Upadesh Sunave, these teachings, these jewels that are shared by Guruji. Guruji says it is not everybody who gets them. You and I are lucky, we are blessed that we have these teachings with us, that we can hear them, we can learn from them, we can adopt them in our life and try and emulate the teachings so that our spiritual life also becomes successful. And who is blessed to get them is Jisnu Diyal Hove Mera Swami. When God himself becomes merciful, becomes kind, becomes compassionate to you, when God himself looks at your life and says, oh, my beloved child is in pain, oh, my beloved child is suffering, oh, my beloved child needs help, then God himself shows the light to bring us from out of darkness. That is what Guru stands for. The whole idea of a Guru is someone who brings us away from darkness, shows us the light. And Guruji says, only if God himself is kind, is compassionate, is happy with us, then these teachings comes. And the last line is the most beautiful line of this Shabad. Jan Nanak Tood Mange Tis Gur Sikhi, Jo Aap Jape Avre Naam Japave. Now this is an advanced topic of Naam, where you are no more just a practitioner of Naam yourself, but you have reached a level where you start to tell other people, where you bring together other people too and say, come, join me. You inspire others to also chant the name of God. But when do you reach this stage is when you yourself have become really a good practitioner of this chanting. When you start to vibrate on the Naam of God every day, when you start to get that nectar that Naam gives you, and we will share with you the beautiful experiences that you get once you taste the real true nectar, then you feel, oh, I should also share it with others. And Guruji says, I beg for the dust of the feet of those people, those Gursikhs who not only, number one, chant themselves, but more importantly, they inspire others to chant too. Come, let's just bow our heads for 30 seconds. As we conclude this Shabad, what have we learned from it is a very simple thing. That to awaken in the early hours of the morning, to connect to the name of God, and throughout the day, whatever we do, wherever we are, however we lead life, to always have that connection with God. And at all times, with each and every breath, as we take it in and take it out, to always remember the name of God. And a day will then come when everything will be so wonderful that we will also feel like sharing this message with the rest of the world. Join us in a few moments. We'll share with you how to do this chanting.